Hello, my name is Temogo and I'm the founder of maThembi. This is our conversations where we just, it's literally a platform where we can extend conversations that we have written on our website, and just conversations that really just empower, develop, and that you can take and go, okay, I can learn one or two from the discussion and from the ladies. So I have Tshepo, who I've mentioned quite a few times, and I have maThembi as well. And yeah, we are here just to talk about all things women. I think whenever we talk about women, I just feel like we allow other things to grow, but we don't allow women to evolve. It's like you can't rebrand yourself. It's like you can't, if I've known Tshepo to eat chocolate, Tshepo must remain eating chocolate until. But we allow other things to change. We allow seasons to happen to people and for those seasons to change them. But it's somehow a taboo, really, when women evolve and they rebrand themselves and they become, someone different. It's like, what? I mean, for men, I think it's called what? What's that age thing that men go through? Midlife crisis, but yeah, then we allow other people to just to say the same. So we're just going to extend on that conversation, just women evolving, changing, being able to just juggle certain roles that we find ourselves in as we grow. But yeah, what is the best way to do so? And you find that some roles are easier and some roles are just challenging. And what is it that they have done to really just get through it? So yeah, I'm going to hand over to them to introduce themselves, because I really don't like introducing people, because I feel like I might say something, or I might introduce them the best way I know how to. But I know that they have so many levels and layers into them and their lives and what they do. So I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
My name is Thembi. I'm the therapist cum social worker in the mental health space. Have been there for about 11, 12 years, previously with other experiences, but mainly a therapist in the mental health space. Of course, I'm a mom. Of course, I'm a go-go. Of all things, and of course I'm Mzalwane. Must I mention the Mzalwane part?
Why not?
And I'm Mzalwane, but we here just to share things, and as unashamedly her audience, we hope we all gonna be having fun. Thank you so much.
Nice. Tshepo?
Hi everyone. Hi ladies. I think to us, this baby we've seen her being birthed.
Yeah.
And we are happy to see her growing.
Yes.
And I think I told them, what's happening? I need the baby to, the baby must crawl and walk. And so, really proud of you. I think for me, when you invited me, I thought, I'm too small to be a guest of this, because this is it's a big thing. Yeah, so thank you for inviting us, Temo. My name, as Temo said, is Tshepo, also known as Thembi at home, also known as Faith if you went to a school with me. I'm a child of God. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I work in the pharma industry. But I also see myself as an entrepreneur. I've started a new journey in property investment, and I'm excited. And I think that's who I am. I just do anything that God wants me to do at a given time.
Yeah. Lovely to meet you, ladies. Well, I know you. I've met you so many times. We spent so much time together, but both of you have touched on our new premises to shoot Unashamedly Her. And, it's very easy sometimes to just get into things and really not take a moment and appreciate, especially when I know that the delay has been, in fact, finding a new venue to shoot, or rather a new location to shoot at, especially during you know, a new year and stuff like that. I just needed something fresh. And yeah, there's this beautiful family that have opened their beautiful home, which serves as now the location for Unashamedly Her for year 2023. And yeah, I can't wait to explore just this beautiful home. It's a home to them. So, you know, it can be a location to us, but it's actually a home to them. And it's really a blessing. It's actually, you know, some of the things I was reading, a book just the other day, and one of the pointers was this lady was just talking about just how she loves hearing testimonies, and when she wanted a car, she actually wanted to, you know, hear about someone's testimony. And one lady that she knew had shared a testimony that, you know, when I was looking for a car, in fact, I met up with someone who I wasn't even close with, and she was like, "Oh, we have so many cars. Please take one because you need a car." And literally that was it. You know, like they were given a car just like that. And, you know, and the author's like, I really hope that I get to a point where I am that blessed to be able to be a blessing into other people's lives and really just give off my overflow. And that's exactly what this family has does. Like they are literally giving off their overflow in opening their space for Unashamedly Her to shoot. So, yeah. Like I've said, that we are talking all things women and change, women evolving. And I think let's start off here. Let's start off with, we all wear many hats. I mean, maThembi, you've just said, you know, you're a mom, you're a go-go, you're a therapist, you know, slash social worker. Tshepo, you've said, you know, you're in property. Obviously, that means you're a businesswoman, you're a wife, you're a mom, and also, you know, then also an employee, a friend. So we continue to have so many layers. And I think as the years go, then more layers are added, you know, more layers. I mean, the layer of being a go-go, all of these layers are added. But I wanna find out what has been the role that, you know, you found yourself in, or you intentionally planned to be in it, that you were like, yo, this has been a challenge. And which other role has been like, this has been just like a bliss. It's just, you know, I'm just flowing in it. We'll start with Tshepo.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's being a parent, a mother, because really you are taking care of somebody that, you know, you see them growing in front of you. You know, 1 minute you're doing everything for them, the next minute they can, but you still have to do some things for them.
Yeah.
But they might think that, no, I don't need you to do things for me anymore. So I think that is for me, I find it being a challenging role, because also when you become a mother, what's challenging is that you remember everything that you used to complain about from your mother, from when you're young, from your mother, or what you thought they could have done.
Yeah.
And now it's your turn. And maybe your child doesn't want that.
Yeah.
You know? I'll use a simple example. So as you heard me, I've mentioned my name, Tshepo, Mathembi, Faith. When I grew up, most of the people at home called me Mathembi. But when I went to varsity, I realized that my names that are registered, it's Tshepo and Faith. And I realized the mix-up, you know, when you want to write, this is what I'm writing. And I used Tshepo. So when I have children, I gave them one name. You know, and my kids are not happy for one name now. Why don't I have an English name, you know? And I thought, you know, I was doing the best, because sometimes I felt like I've got multiple personality issues when people, because, you know, those that come with me, Mathembi, it's like I've changed myself. It's like somebody's used this, and sometimes I see people, if they know this name and they feel like they know me better than you because you know me as Tshepo, and they know me, you know. So I used to feel like, this thing is confusing. But I see my daughter, the eldest, she calls herself Rose, you know, Zinhle Rose.
And Rose, it's a name that she's given herself.
No,
just
she
giving
gave because her
herself.
friends had middle names.
Yeah. No.
And she came back from school and she's like, no,
Yeah.
Zinke Rose, I'm like, oh, where's the Rose coming from? Like, that's my second name.
Because you didn't give me a
Yeah,
second
the
name.
name.
You
Yeah.
and Daddy didn't give me a
Yeah.
second name.
And the reason
And
was
everyone
that.
is
And also the other thing is that we live now in Durban, KZN, and I used to don't like how they shorten their names. I just don't like when you are Snentlantla and you are now called Sne. I'm like, what is that? I believe in using your whole name. So I gave them short names so that nobody shortens their name.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it says a lot, as much as, and you start realizing how challenging it is to raise a person, a child, because you're trying to do what's best, but you're always using your own perspective, your own experiences and references.
Yeah.
So I find it challenging, as much as I do have values and I do, we've read books and and you've got your script and the child comes and doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
And you have to find another way. So for me, I find that as one of my challenging roles. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, and I'm teachable. I'm happy to say to my kids, I'm sorry, because sometimes I do have to say I'm sorry. And so
yeah.
I think,
So it's both ways. It's been a role that you just jumped into, but also challenging.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And you, maThembi, what would you say? Which role has been the easiest to jump on?
You know, with me, I'm saying all these roles are difficult.
Yeah.
You know, being a mom, being a wife at one stage, being a go-go, all these roles, being a career woman, you're working, and all these roles are so challenging, but you have to find ways of working around them, right? Like Tshepo is saying, to say with the names and whatever, because one parent would say, hey, there's no Rose here.
Yeah.
Take that Rose, what Rose is there,
Yes.
But it's just working around all the difficulties that, that you encounter,
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, really being a parent, after I finished school, went to varsity, and I had my flat, and I was free. And then, boom, the child is there. So everything changes, and it's like, what is this? But then you have to work around. It's very, very important that you work around all these roles. And although I won't say you will flow through, but it's going to be like that because you work around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I guess also like you're saying, that being a mom comes with a lot of challenges, right? And some actually go through depression just after, giving birth. Yeah. How have you managed to do well in this mom role, without falling apart? Or do we really sometimes do fall apart? Like, is it okay it's okay to fall apart. It's okay to have those moments where you also you cry, because sometimes I'm like, no, I've got this on lockdown. And sometimes I'm just like, I can't, it's just too much, but one is then reminded that it's also a season, it's also a phase, and it passes by. But how have you managed to, handle the mom role, especially because both of you are moms, and also continue to pursue your goals and your plans, without everything now, or rather all your attention? Like, how do you actually find the balance to, yes, I'm a mom, but I can still do me, and I can still focus on my dreams and my goals and my plans, despite the fact that other people have live-in nannies, other people obviously have supportive partners, but others probably don't have that.
No, I think what is important is sometimes us as women, we're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like you are saying.
Yeah.
We so much hard on ourselves that we're thinking we are close to being perfect, or we are perfect, when it's not like that. So when you are hit with the reality, like Tshepo is saying, to say you read books and you say, I've got this. But when you are hit with reality and you're like, what is this? And then there are, of course, pressures around to say, is Tshepo falling apart? And you're thinking of other people. The best for me that I've personally done is all the time I would step back and say, Thembi, you are not perfect. Okay? Whatever will be, will be.
Yeah.
But just do what you can for now.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. I wouldn't go out and think to say, oh, what would my friends say? You know, like for example, if my child failed at school, and you like the first thing that hits you is, oh, my friends.
Yes.
No.
What will they say?
Step back, and you like, Thembi, what would be, would be. For now, focus on this.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot because it takes away the pressures.
Yeah.
Be it at work, because some parents will talk about their children that are smart and whatever, and you step back and say, what will be, and focus on the situation to say, how do I work on this situation? Remove the perfection part of it. That is what is killing most of us women, be it young, like
or
you
old,
guys, or old, you
Yeah.
know, because you always want to be seen as this perfect mom, as this perfect wife, and there's no such.
Do you think we are expected to be, though?
Of course we are.
Okay.
That is why I'm saying.
So society is expecting us to be perfect.
Absolutely.
But
the
also-
society is expecting us to
But
be
also, we
perfect.
must remember that we are the society.
Yeah.
We are the society,
Yeah.
and therefore we are expecting ourselves to do that, and therefore collectively we become society.
Yeah.
And sometimes society can just be in your mind. Really, sometimes you might think people are going to say this, and which they are not even going to say.
Say that.
But already your mind it has become the society that is judging you because you are thinking that people are going to say that. You know, sometimes
So you want to impress.
you want to impress, and you might find
And
that
that time they don't care.
Yeah, because sometimes
Yeah.
we know that you've been through a lot, and therefore you're expecting that. You know, we're expecting you to be grieving because there's been a death. So it's not like we're going to judge you. If anything falls, it should have, something has to happen to show that you're going through a process. I find that sometimes, yes, society is there, but I remember that I'm also society. In collectively. So how I think it helps me first, when you're talking about your question again, you were, now I'm getting to the society thing, but you were saying that
How do we strike
How
the
do you
balance?
strike a balance?
How do you
have you
strike-
dealt with it?
with me, what I've done, when I was still in Joburg, I used to, there's a family that I used to look at church. As I said, I'm a church girl. And what I loved about it is that they saw their kids being the best. So we are on the other side and they're that side. So you hear people saying, oh, she does this, oh, she does that, oh, he does this. But those parents, what I learned from them is that when they see you as this is what they see you as. It really doesn't matter what you're doing. And which is going back to maThembi saying
exactly.
that you sit down and think what is important for you.
Yeah.
So for me, that was important.
Exactly.
So if they see their child as
Yeah.
going to be a pastor,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what they are going through right now. Their prayer, their words are towards what they think you're going to be. If you're going to be a doctor, so they treat you like what you are going to be. What is happening, it's something else.
Not,
So
not who you are at that moment.
No. As Mom Tim saying, what will be, will be.
Yeah.
So they saw it like that, and that encouraged me so much that I was looking from the other side. As I said, I'm here, and you can see some people who say, "Oh, we came late. We sit at the back because we were with the kids there." So and so is doing this, and the parents treated them to be what. And today there are those people.
Yeah.
And their parents saw them.
Yeah.
So the words that were spoken to them, the prayers that were prayed for them, were for what they were supposed to be. And that doesn't mean
Yeah.
that they'll make mistakes. And that's how I've chosen to take that path. That even whatever happens with my kids, what I believe them, what God has shown me about them, I believe that.
Yeah.
And even in hard situation, when something that is negative that comes, I still believe that your promises are yes and amen. And right. So that helps you not to think about what people are going to say, but what God wants will happen.
Yeah.
And therefore, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Were you both challenged with, or are you married in families where they were like, ingani yaga
Yes.
hlatshwayo izokhuliswa kanje? You know, where you find yourself now, me and my husband, are we able to step out and actually do what we feel is best? Or is there a mandate? Because you find that there's other families where there's a template. Ingani yala
Sure.
izokhuliswa kanje. And you find now, as a makoti, or you married into that family, you're like, how do I even juggle? I'm trying to juggle being a makoti firstly, within this family.
Okay.
I was blessed, or
Yeah.
I've never had such.
Yeah.
There was no expectation.
Okay, which is nice.
Which
Yeah,
is
which
nice.
is nice.
So I think for me, the most important thing when I was young, I always thought I never wanted to have a child when I still lived with my parents, because I knew that then she or him will have to grow up the way they see fit, because it's in their household. And maybe it might, even financially, maybe they might have to help out. So that was the one thing that always was in the back of my mind. I had friends who would have a child and they're still living at home, and they, simple things like you're not supposed to breastfeed until this time, and the mother says, listen here, you breastfeed from what day you were eating.
Yes.
You were eating from day one,
Yes.
And that made me not want to raise a child inside a household. So I think those terms and conditions may apply if you lived with, maybe if I lived with my in-laws, maybe. But unfortunately, I've never lived with them.
Yeah.
So normally we just do what my husband and I want.
Felt best
For the child.
Yeah.
And even when they see us with the children, it's not like
there are no expectations per se. Yeah.
There's no one who have ever said, "Oh, you should have."
Yeah. Sure.
So
Most of the time, like the stage that you're mentioning to say, ingane yakwanqobo iyenza kanje. These are the things okufanele ngabe you already know about them even before kufika ingane. I'm just taking it back now. Okay. Before even kufika ingane, I know there will always be shockers, usushadile.
Yes.
But what is important, and it's still a challenge, by the way.
yeah.
But by the time you are married, that is when you're beginning to know things and to talk about things, and it's all in the rush.
Yeah.
You never had the time. Hence, I'm saying, most of the times when you're going through phases, just step back and think, or say, okay, I'm ready, okay. Even whilst you are pregnant, to say, okay, what's up, kwanqobo, and whatever. Before it even comes there, because by the time it comes there, at least you have an idea.
Yeah.
You've disagreed, you've agreed with your partner, and so because this is where you are not alone in this thing, So I think that is very, very important for anyone going into this institution to say communication of all these things that the relationship with the in-laws, right? All those things, how are you going to be handling them? But most of it all, guys, the importance of closing the noise, shutting the noise, and look to your partner.
Yeah.
Right? It's very important, because by the time you step into the entire family, at least you would have sorted out all these things.
Yeah.
So with me, obviously, Temu will know the advantage. I got married very late. I knew myself already. I knew who I was. I had owned my property. I had a child, Tshepo. I had a child before I got married, right? So I'm saying I had all that independence.
So
like Tshepo was saying, she said, I'm not going to be having a child before
Yeah.
Yeah, but with
She wanted to move out of home.
She wouldn't.
Yeah.
But with me, it happened. But I remember what you were saying about our parents owning our children. So I closed the noise from my mom as well in the family. My mom, we didn't talk, I think, for about a year because she was refusing for me to take my boy.
Yeah.
She said, hey, you know.
Yeah.
But I said, Mom, this is my child. Because already I knew exactly, you know. So, I mean, I'm saying it's different strokes for
And
different
I've
folks.
always admired you for raising your child, because I often said to you, how did you do it? Because a lot of women will say, no, ma kade angafuni ngai.
So ngimshiyile ekhaya.
Exactly.
Bubo kade bangafuni ngai.
Exactly.
Yes.
You see.
And I used to say, I admire you, Gucci, you took your child, because it always looked like it's hard. It's like it's something that is not done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't choose to close the noise,
Yeah.
as you must say,
Right.
and do what you,
Yeah.
because you're an adult already, and
Yes.
this is your
Yeah.
Yeah.
child.
Yeah. And in fact, I think at the end, they even respect you for choosing yourself and being an adult.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because, 10, 15 years, 20 years later, you could have easily said, yeah, I wanted to take you, but
Absolutely.
ugogo bekangafuni.
But now the
Whereas
child,
on the other hand, you find that the kid feels
Yes.
rejected.
Absolutely.
Yes, I
That
wanted to say that
you
as
went
well.
away and you started your own life. And she left you.
Absolutely.
So,
And by that time, my mom had 5 grandchildren, right? And you imagine which meetings, homeworks, and whatever. I was trying to
Yes.
explain that. So, really, guys, what is important? It's all about the word has been selfish, which was not treated like, self-care.
yeah.
Is this going to be working for me
Yeah.
Well, let me try
and
it.
for my child?
Yeah.
And let's try it.
Yeah.
So in that way, I mean, the challenges that will come with it, it's it's going to be minimal. It's going to be there,
Yeah.
but it's going to be minimal and, manageable.
And what I love about life, there's challenges either way.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
consequences either
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
doesn't matter which route you choose. Because
There's
you
consequences.
left him with your mom, then there's other 5 grandkids, homeworks and stuff. It's another challenge there that mom is experiencing as much as you are not experiencing. You might find that the child starts struggling at school
Yes.
because maybe he needs certain attention from, as a child, he needs somebody to concentrate on, but we've got other 5 kids to concentrate. And remember, now mom is gogo, it's not actually
Mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
so discipline is not coming as a mom, it's coming as a gogo, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned one thing, maThembi, uthi, obviously back then it was selfish. And now the term has, been somehow changed into self-care. But I want to go into that, I want us to chat a bit about that, uthi. Is it okay for women to choose themselves? And listen, well, so this is where I'm getting at, right? You find that, I think I was reading some study, I remember I was reading some study, and I think it was Women's Day was coming up, and I was just doing some research on just, self-care, I'm the best, and just speaking those words of affirmation that just women have been told to speak, upon themselves and upon their lives, just good affirmation, positivity affirmation words. But this study is saying that culture has created beasts.
Yeah.
And what it means is then women are getting to that thing where if I'm not getting the results, I am out.
Sure.
Like, hey, I don't care what you say, but if I'm not getting the results, I'm out. I'm choosing myself. They choose not to have kids because I'm choosing myself. I want to study first before I have kids. They decide to, take up a job overseas. I'm choosing myself. And that culture is now coming on strong. But do you feel that it is actually coming strong? Like, do you feel like it's actually selfish that, or rather it's been overused that people are now self-care that, where it's actually you are really just being selfish.
Yeah.
You are just
Yeah.
being selfish. And there needs to, and is there maybe just a room where, yes, it's okay to put yourself first?
Yes,
Just basically read the room. Yes, in this situation, you can put yourself first. Are there other situations where maybe put others first, put your kid first, put your husband first if you're married, put your partner first, if you're in a relationship, put your parents first, before you actually put yourself first.
Yeah. You see, you see that again. It's the pressures of the society. Don't suppose saying we are a society, whereby you find that, like I said initially, first things first. You are a woman. You are in relationship, and then you put your person. You put your first, and then. But the thing is, there are pressures that happen before that, right? I'll make an example. Like there are parents who would say to their daughter, "Hey, intombazane ingashadile. Egeli ingashadile. I know it's not okay." Right? And then there you are, you growing, and this thing is being instilled on you, right? So you are all out to say, "I'm gonna get married." As to how, what I encounter and what are you going to be encountering, you only know when you are there. Yes. Right? And then when you are there, this is where the self-care is coming.
Yeah.
Because I'm a career man, and you're like, "Hi boys, this is what my parents were talking about."
Yes.
But no, this is not me. You get what I'm saying? So that is why we're seeing the numbers of girls and whoever saying that, no, I come first because I'm 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? So that is where the problem is. So most of the time, we want to tackle these issues when we are emshadweni already, when in fact now we should be talking to those girls up there to say, guys, take note, because most of the time, hey, umshado, hey, yeah, I remember now as a joke, my aunt, my father's first sister would say to me when we sit here, I will never ask you ukuzo khulumela udadewini or the niece kumshado, because really when you just too much. Because since they've known life experience, yes. I mean, I'm like, no, guys. No. This is not it. Umshado, like for example, we know I could see with my parents how my father was treating my mother. Yeah. So, but then you have to make a decision. So you're thinking, oh, wako is gonna be better. Okay, fine, but get to know about what are you getting. Yeah. So that is when you are saying the self-care. It's okay for me. It's okay, but the thing is, it happens maybe in a messed up situation, and people's egos, the partners, the husbands and the boyfriends' egos are like, who do you think you are now, So that is where the challenge is.
Sure. As you were saying, Guti, they'll say, Ushadani, one of my friends used to say, Guti, uzile bakenzele function, they're celebrating you. Sure. You've just gotten another, deal. Yes. Or you became partner. Yeah. And then yabona ke celebrate kumncane. Sure. And after everything uzobathi, hey, kodwa siyakubona nama-deal akho ne upartner wakho kodwa umshado wona umkhwenyane wona. It's like she was saying that, you achieve so much. Yay. True. And you're so happy, you're celebrating, and that it just comes as if, we see it. You see, yeah. And that's what Uma is talking about. Then things happen because there's pressure. Yeah. And then when you get there, you realize that I've always been, and you've always been that person of self-care. Hence, you've been doing those things. And it means you've been meeting people, but you could see that it won't work. Yeah. That's why at your, at your celebration. Yes. And now when you do that, you end up getting this umkhwenyane. When you realize that things are not working, it comes as if now you're pushing self-care. Yeah. Which is just, you are just saying, I cannot live, I live like this. Yes. And this is how I live. So you sort of like just going back to your default, which now people see it, because now there was no one to use and say, and now there's kids and
it comes with So talking about now the woman in marriage. Sure. What are we saying? I think last year I went to a lot of marriages, but where I was given an opportunity to say a speech or, speak to the bride, I think my biggest thing was don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself, because it's especially when you are getting married in your young years,
Sure.
it's very easy to just, run with things. I'm married now, we're running with this marriage thing. And you find that you are literally forgetting, just staying true to yourself. And, let's talk a bit about the woman in marriage and how she can best adjust. What are we saying? Are we saying as you go into marriage, take turns, you and your partner, take turns in how you pursue dreams. You can't both pursue dreams at the same time.
Especially if they're kids.
Yeah,
Unless
you
you
can't
know
both
kids.
pursue dreams at the same time. So this time, this one will have to. And then when this one slightly is coming down, maybe you can also pursue your dreams. But we find a lot of times, especially because women are nurturers, we find a lot of times really women being the ones who will sacrifice and put their dreams on hold, and put some not even on hold, but literally forgetting just themselves and really focusing on what the husband is doing. But how do we find a balance? How does, here's a young lady who just got married and she's struggling to just find a balance because she has dreams, aspirations. What is it that, she wants to do? And he has as well. Then what do we sync these together and move forward? Or do we go, okay, cool, because these two can't really sync. Let's wait for you to pursue. And then once you've pursued and we've gotten you to a certain level, then we can bring, I'm trying, how can she best navigate the change that comes with it without also continuing to stay true to herself? I mean, you even mentioned kids, Tshepo, ne? But even the kids thing is sometimes a challenging question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because this lady's like, not yet.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not saying not at all, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying not yet.
Yeah.
Can I do 1, 2, 3? And then these can come. You know?
I'm saying if there are kids, it also becomes challenging. But what I'm learning, I'm at my 40s, early 40s. And I feel that we live in fear.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I look at older women and, there's never, I think we're always feeling like we have to start now. But it's never too late to start anything. You can start any, and I'm saying that because as I've moved from Joburg to Durban, and a lot of people say, how do you move from Joburg to Durban? And I would say maybe my kids are enjoying school. I find that their life is fine here. And it's because I've looked at other women and the kids have grown and they're doing their own thing, They've managed, they can travel.
Yeah.
So I feel that sometimes when you are under fear and dealing with pressure from whatever, you find that you cannot focus.
Yeah.
On what because sometimes you actually just waste time. You might even waste time still discussing who's going to start whatever. At least somebody could have just started. But if you look at some older people that have made it in life, they were still going through what we're going. They had, if they were married or not married. You find a single mother who has made it. You find somebody who's made it
They still did what they needed to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going back to, and some people have actually achieved more when they were married. Some achieved more when they were single.
Yes.
I think one of the writers, that African black lady, I think it's Morrison or. Yeah, I think,
Morrison,
yes. And I think she started writing. Actually, she started writing when she got divorced with 2 boys. So what I'm saying is that, as I'm going back to what maThembi was saying, Guti, you need to find in yourself what works for you then. And don't utilize, like today we're at this beautiful place. But if you start utilizing it as your standard, as sort of like Ngati, it's what will say to you you've succeeded or wherever, then you're going to put pressure on yourself because you've got your own journey. But people arrive at any time, anywhere.
Yeah.
And for a moment, concentrate on what you are doing. Yes, discuss. It's important to discuss. Yes, you can come up with, if whatever you want to do cannot be done, both people cannot do it. Maybe it's traveling far, or maybe you're studying something that is going to take your time. Yeah, communication is important.
Yeah.
But I feel that what pushes us, what gives us stress, is because we find that we are competing with no one, actually.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I find that the minute I just relax, because I moved here, nobody knows me. I always find that I live with nobody knows me, nobody knows where I'm from. So it's not like people will say, oh, you're better now or you're not better. You just don't know whether where I'm at. And I find that I'm at peace.
Yeah.
I just cruise according to my way or how I can do it at that time. And I can choose, okay, we're doing this now, we're not going to have this.
Yeah.
There'll always be going to be sacrifices.
Yeah.
You know, as we were joking with Uma, I would say, when you choose this, you can't even buy perfume for them. And those are the things that you must know. Yes, we're choosing this, but they're going to be sacrifices.
Yeah.
And I think that's how sometimes we are frustrated by the sacrifices because we want to achieve our dreams. And we get frustrated and therefore we now see things differently. But we have to sacrifice in life, unfortunately. There has to be perseverance.
Yeah.
You have to, and it's not easy most of the time. I don't know if I answer your question, but I find that you have to find yourself. You have to find what works for you. And what I find is that what works for this one doesn't work for this one.
It doesn't.
Because we are different, we have different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And you find that, some people you get that they are just happy.
Yeah.
They're just happy. And you're thinking, how does this thing work?
Yeah.
But they're happy.
Yeah, and another thing, especially the marriage part, wherein you come in, maybe you find that your partner is not at the level at which you would aspire him to be, or her to be, and then what you start doing, let's suppose saying, then it's competition, because Tshepo has got her husband, who is very different from my husband. But then what Tshepo is doing is able to implement because of the relationship that's got, then but you're expecting yourself to be at the same level.
Yeah.
So that is where it starts. And then in this instance wherein remember we're also talking about men's egos.
Yes.
Right? So the fact that, okay, we've been empowered and whatever, always go back and think, what about?
Yeah.
Right? What about? Because us as well, the empowered woman, sometimes we can be, we are in a messy situation wherein you want your marriage to work, but at the same time, you don't want to understand where the guy's egos is at, and then find ways of helping and holding each other's hands, especially So that is where, like I'm saying, you look at that I'm happy in my marriage, and you don't even know, but you just assume to say, Tshepo, I want to be, and yet it's not the same. So in everything that we're doing, think about the fact that there's two people involved. The example you made to say when you're giving a talk there or whatever, a motivation or words of wisdom, and you say, don't lose who you are.
Yeah.
Someone might say, what is that all about? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is that all about? Because me now I'm sharp.
Yeah.
I'm Mrs. Zondi now.
Yeah.
What is Tshepo talking about?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but then there is someone who, when you say that,
it
sticks,
lands, yeah.
It sticks, and the person would have experienced already.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, but I mean, it's important that now and again, unfortunately, you don't have to keep your mouth shut wherever you're given platform. You mention these things, But of course, let's not forget that the socialization is such that men are also feeling left out, and their egos are so,
They are, yeah, they are. I think that's another topic for another day, because it is, they find themselves yeah, I wanted an empowered woman.
Sure.
I wanted a goal,
Sure.
driven woman.
Yeah.
I wanted a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But I think they are just in love with the ideal.
Sure.
And because what's being displayed as
Well
that, whether through social media, whether through,
put.
these platforms that we watch, the
Yeah.
series that we watch.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is a type of woman that I want. So
Sure.
it's just an ideal.
Sure.
But you find that, then they meet up with that person and they're like, I don't think,
Yeah.
So it's like, the ego, it just becomes too much. And because it's like, this girl is driven, this girl is empowered. Like, she's just on another level. But I think, I think, these are I've never been a man. And I'm not a man. I've never been one.
So
so I wouldn't speak on behalf of men. But I think, they should also have their own platforms in how to then deal with a powerhouse. Because I truly believe that, someone who's determined, someone who's ambitious also has that, so what is it that's giving you insecurities? That when you have this powerhouse, you then feel less of a, and where can these two...
And it works actually both sides, as much as we're talking about ego, but you might find that sometimes when this one is higher, the woman might feel insecure. And one can ask, why are you feeling like that, As maThembi was saying, I remember, when you, as Christians, what love should be patient, love. And when you look at that Corinthians 13, you start realizing, sometimes I challenge myself, am I being patient? Am I being, really, am I being, when everything is happening and I'm so upset and I look at those things and I ask which ones now I'm not? Because at the end of the day, love, when it's still butterflies, is like now you think you're doing these other things.
Yeah.
But we know really that only when you're doing those things, when you're patient, when you don't speak bad, when you are kind.
Yes.
That's when you're being loved. That's
Yes.
what the Word of God says.
You see, now that Tshepo is mentioning the issue of ubuzalwane, I'm just, the issue of love and patience and whatever. And all these challenges. And I'm just thinking, right now, there is a woman out there listening to us and watching us who's umzalwane. There's a guy there who's umzalwane, who has just gotten married.
Yeah.
And is like, the wife is like shocking, is the opposite of what he has seen at church. Right? Yeah. Because of the circumstances. Like you are mentioning the Bible, but then this guy is like, I thought you knew Corinthians.
I thought you knew Corinthians.
I thought you knew 1 Corinthians 13 and whatever. And then these couples that I'm saying, both the guy, both the girl, either way, they're like, is this what is marriage all about?
Yeah.
But and you find that it can be a guy, it can be a lady who's judging.
Yeah.
But it says it wasn't judged.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And we find ourselves that a lot of things, I'm just not even the verse that says whatever you think, is it kind? So you find that our thoughts, but are often, because for me that's what I go to. I often just see, yes, you have to sit down and see the reality of where you are at.
Yeah.
But depending on your belief as well.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that you have something that, these are my values. Where I'm, and both of us, you can check this one good. Are you being kind? And you realize, no, actually I was not being kind. And sometimes, yes, this has happened because I have not been kind.
Yeah.
And therefore, when I'm not being kind, the ego then is bruised. Or the ego, this is what is bringing the insecurity because of, the ways that I've said, which I thought they didn't mean that, but I'm sorry, it hurt you.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized that, in marriage, sometimes you realize that you just said things and you didn't mean it that way, but unfortunately I'm hurt.
Yeah.
And I think what I've learned is that for me to explain what I was trying to explain is not important. And the same happens with friendships. female to female
Yeah.
or male to males, you realize that, you know what, yes, it's a cute thing, or some people might not be hurt about that, but because you're saying you hurt, I have to apologize.
I have to apologize.
And see,
Yeah.
and I think for me with marriage, it's growing, realizing that we are evolving.
Yeah.
As maThembi says, we're not perfect.
Yeah.
And once you get to a point where you know that you're not perfect, it's easy to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In both parties.
Yeah.
But if you live if you're expecting that you don't do wrong things, then you get challenged.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once you learn, go say, yeah, I'm not perfect. And
Yeah.
I could have done it better, because sometimes this has happened because this one has done this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Love is a challenge.
I know. I know.
is.
We live and we learn, and I think just learning to know that, okay, I'm not perfect, and therefore it's also you are then able to extend grace.
Yeah.
You know, to the next person, because you also know that they are also not perfect.
Yeah.
Yabo. It's just that I was with a friend the other day, and she was saying, no, sometimes when I extend grace, then all of a sudden this person behaves like I should be extending grace every
all
2
the
minutes.
time,
You know, so it's
attacking
like you are taking advantage of it, you know. And a friend was reminding me that, you know, Exodus 20, I think, commandments were given and grace was extended, but also consequences were given. And sometimes that's how life is, whether it's, you know, any other place, whether it's the corporate world, whether it's your own business, you know, grace should be given because people are not perfect.
Yeah,
People
but
should be given
consequences are there.
more than second and third chances. But also you need to get to a point where you're like, okay, so for the past 2 years, you've been underperforming. You know, in a company, they tell you you're underperforming. They tell you once, they tell you twice, you're out, you know. And that's the consequences that, A, we're giving you a chance. This is what's happening. If this doesn't change, you know, this is what's going to happen. And speaking of the word and marriage, I'm just going to be controversial here. Should marriage be forever?
It's a nice one, though.
Yeah.
Should
I
marriage
love
be
that.
forever?
I really
The institution
love
is forever.
Yeah.
I think the question that should be asked is that how we're living in this marriage, should it be forever if we continue living this way? The institution is forever. But if you're not living according to how you need to live in the institution,
Yeah. Yeah.
then then we now start asking if should it be forever. The institution is there. It's like this house. It will be forever if nothing happens to it. You know. So for me, I think the main question is that should we continue this way
Yeah.
forever?
Forever. Sure.
And I
That's
think
really
that-
good.
I think that's what brings. So when people have divorced or separated, the marriage is still there. It's still forever, but they cannot live within the institution that way forever. And sometimes some can say we cannot change, but some say we can continue, but not this way, because this way does not lead to forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
When I think about being married, is that when we have challenges, is that we can't continue this way, and what is the best way to continue? Because this way, it doesn't.
It's not going to lead
to forever.
It's not going to lead to forever.
So I'm in an institution that says forever.
Yeah.
And our goal is to live towards forever. So I don't know if I explained it, but that's how I put it to myself.
Yeah.
That because when it doesn't work, it doesn't mean marriage doesn't work. But if I'm living maybe the way we are living, if we are hitting each other, doing this, then it becomes not forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or words or whatever. But there are ways, you know, that's why even in your job, if you're not doing things according to what you have to sell, you're not selling, you're stealing, it stops while others continue, but you're out.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. And which helps if I see it that way. You cannot ask me, should I leave, should I not leave? I want to know from you as couples, what do you think?
Yeah.
If you continue living the way you're living, will it lead to forever? or
Or
things
what?
might need to change.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yeah, no. You know, the first part to say, this is a forever. This is a forever. So even in the Bible, God is blessed, you know. So we cannot say it should stop. But then my other answer is going to be like a bit controversial. Because I'm taking it on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
From naturally.
Yeah.
When you've got a driver's license,
Yeah.
you go for eye testing. After 5 years, you go again. Because the eye might not have been right now. You might not have one arm.
That's why.
You might not have one, whatever. But then you don't go, then they say, because you don't have an eye, let's say separate. You won't get a license. There are ways. They'll say we'll do oral and we'll do whatever, right? But then in this institution, it's not like that. There's just, if I'm not happy about what my hubby, or if the hubby is not happy, we'll talk, we'll see, we'll go to therapy, we'll go to this, and we'll go back. We'll, you know. So I mean, I'm saying on that part, there has to be the legality part of it, like the driver's license. But I don't know how. I mean, I'm saying it's just my wildest dream. I always say that, to say there has to be something giving between getting married and divorce. I see the therapy, I see everything, families, involvement and whatever, objectivity. But for me, really, there has to be some legalities in the judiciary wherein they're saying, before the magistrate attends to the divorce, there has to be this process after every 5 years, wherein you go back to court. I know maybe for now it sounds
it's not
mad, but I mean,
Yes.
this is
Yes.
what I've been feeling
Yes.
after 5 years
Because
or
it will
whatever.
actually break
You
the
change.
familiarity.
People change, we
Yes.
evolve, we
Exactly.
we grow out of love of each
And
other,
that's-
and
that's
so
why we
many
need
things.
to
So
evaluate.
if,
Yes.
if it's after 5 years, you will know, you go back to court and you say, are you still sharp? Are you still sharp? No, I'm sharp. No, I'm not sharp with this. But let's see for the next 5 years. You get what I'm saying? I can assure you, by the time the divorce happens, I mean, it wouldn't be, you know, because right now, if there are things in between, it can only be divorce. I know. I hope people are, I don't know who is it, because these things, the divorce was created and it goes to court. So what can stop this legality
getting to
part
that process,
to get
yes.
into the process, to say, as from there's this act that is going
Yeah.
to be implemented, to say after 5 years of marriage, you go back to court and you review and renew and say, are you still fine? And then you continue. So that is my wildest.
And if you're not fine, what? Are you given the tools?
You give it the tools. That's
To
what I'm saying.
say,
This is
what
where
you
the
can work
process
on.
is. Yes.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To say, okay,
No, I
fine.
get you.
We're going to be practical, because I can assure you, all of us will be on our toes.
Yeah.
And all of us will be genuine.
Yes.
Because 5 years is not forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 5 years is coming now.
Whether it's families involved,
Yeah.
whether it's what, like
Yeah.
the driver's license.
Yeah.
We always on our toes. They expired there.
Yes.
You know? And you know, when you go there, no one is going to be like disadvantaging you, because you'll say, hey, my eyes. They'll say, okay, put on the glasses.
Yes.
You'll put on the glasses.
Yeah.
You need to go for more eye testing.
Yes.
Right? And you get your license. So really, that has been always my wildest.
And I think that's what we often say, Gutsi, don't go start therapy things when things are not going well.
Yeah.
Because before your eyes,
Yeah.
because imagine if we were not doing this 5 years thing, you wouldn't know anything about your eyes.
Tshepo, you see, this is what I'm getting at as well. To say corporate, the lack of ethics, the lack of
Yes.
professionalism.
Yeah.
You go to home affairs, you go to hospitals,
Yeah.
you encounter
Yeah.
this. Are you pregnant again? You aborted
Yeah,
last
yes.
week or whatever.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
saying
yes, yeah.
it's all over, not only in the judiciary,
No,
but really it doesn't stop for these things to be challenged and be put out there, you know, to say, guys,
Processes
it's
to-
process, you know,
to
the
help.
processes
No,
to
I agree
do
with
that,
you.
to
I
help.
agree
There'll
with you.
always be those rotten potatoes in one way or another.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is how really I see this marriage thing from both sides, really.
Yeah.
Because really, like you are saying, it's becoming more challenging because people are getting more enlightened that the world is now the village.
Yeah.
So people are like, they can see people divorcing and like, why am I still here?
Yeah.
And yet when we grow up, we didn't have another perspective of how life is.
Yeah.
But now it's just here. The unashamedly here are like listening now, wherever in the world. And is that possible? So really, I mean, that is how, because marriage is such a beautiful thing.
It is. It's a beautiful
so beautiful
institution.
But I mean, there needs to be things here and there that needs to be
To support,
To support, yeah.
Or it's important for us to find systems that can support marriages as well.
Yeah.
You can start and you can start and become and help.
Yeah.
Seriously, because when God puts a dream, you understand, you know what to do and just assist, because assisting is important, because currently those systems are not in place. But how do we start them? By just,
Yeah, no,
You
true.
see?
And I can imagine when those things, and like you mentioned the issue of abazalwane and church, and I can imagine churches being up in arms.
Yes.
You expect all of that, to address all of that, because obviously, I'm just saying, they'll be, this is God's institution, and we are in hell, and whatever, and yet we abazalwane are going through it.
We're going through it. Yes, we're in it.
We're in it. We are human beings, So it's really interesting.
It's important.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. But I think it's important to evaluate.
Yeah.
When you're talking about evaluation, I've been doing that a lot in my life. That we work for companies and we evaluate. But they evaluate you every time. And why don't we evaluate our lives?
Yeah. We don't.
I evaluate my life.
Yeah.
Evaluate my marriage.
Yeah.
It's important. I said, let's evaluate. I find that what I've also now do is that I've realized that having a resolution a year, it doesn't give you agency. And what I've done, because working and I see how these people that we work for take this thing serious.
Yes.
We do quarterly. So I also evaluate my life quarterly. I say, okay, this is the goal for the year. But by quarter, what do I want to achieve by then? And then you sort of like give yourself some agency. That 5 years, it gives you agency. It gives you want to change, because how do I get to that 5 years and I don't get good?
True.
And I don't hear my partner saying, hey, I'm saying right. So you brought some agency to say, I need to deal with myself. Because, all of us are thinking, when I get there, I just want to, when she's asked or when he's asked, he must say, hey, usase right.
Yes.
Yeah, but so you're trying to, you even check ngapekaya before you start evaluating, but usase right, so that you don't get surprised.
Is there something we need to do?
Not all of us, as you said, will comply. As much as these things are there, some people will still do their own things. But I think it's important to evaluate. It doesn't matter where you are at in life. You start with yourself and evaluate. And for you to bring agency, it's nice to just cut it down. Because sometimes when you wait for December, you might think it's far.
But it's, and then before you know it, you haven't done anything because there hasn't been any evaluation.
And you remember November, I wanted to lose 10 kgs.
Yes.
And by the way, the evaluation, especially within the marriage institution, it's very difficult. There has to be a mediator. Hence, I'm talking the Scott thing, because if you sit, I mean, defensiveness is a natural thing. When you sit as a couple, right?
That's true.
So that mediator. So if this thing is not legal, obviously even the mediator, sometimes maybe the husband might feel that, I could see even this mediator is on his side.
Yes.
And the wife might say, you get what I'm saying? So it's important to sit down as a couple and evaluate, but always, I mean, you're guiding your space and just say, but I mean, it's me, it's, so that mediator is even difficult. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like...
Yeah, you need to start working there.
Yeah.
Because some of those that are able with the therapy, the psychologists, and
yes,
the
because
those,
and most of them you find that, especially now in the marriage, there's children involved, there's property, there's and people are like, hey, I don't even have the strength to go to divorce because I lose and whatever. But if there's this 5 years, guys, as you accumulate,
it'll keep you at your toes.
Absolutely, as you accumulate, so some people really want out, but because of children, because of this, the convenience, it's very nice, to have somebody to cook for you. It's very nice to have somebody to fix things for you and to go and take the card for service and whatever. So you become, complacent, girl, and it becomes, So that's why I'm saying it's a wild thing, which has never, I don't even think it's been mentioned, but never been taken serious. But looking at how this marriage institution is, you're like, we've tried.
Yeah.
There's been professors who've done researches and whatever, but the challenges, it's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah, so
Let's talk a bit about friendships. How do we wear these different hats and continue showing up for our friends / sisters, Also without putting the pressure on yourself. Because I sometimes feel like, we want to be superwoman for everyone. Want to be superwoman at home. We want to be superwoman in the roles that we do at our jobs. We want to be superwoman, as a mom. We want to be superwoman even in our friends, But you find that it gets too much. Like, I think one of the things that... which, I'm not proud of, but also I'm like, you know what? It's a boundary that I've had to come to terms with for myself. And it's the fact that, since I became a mom, I actually, this, by 9 p.m., my phone is down. I don't answer WhatsApps. And, sometimes I feel like I'm there for my friends, but sometimes I'm not there when they need me to. But I will show up. But sometimes I'm not showing up when you really want me to show up. But it doesn't mean that I won't show up at all, And some have respected that. Some have respected that, I'm sending a text. When she reads it, she'll respond. Or I'm sending a voice note. When she listens, she will respond. And not expect me to respond right there and there because this is, But how have you managed to balance that? Because, and I'm saying this because maThembi, I've seen with our moms, how by the time they get to their 50s, 60s, they don't have friends anymore.
Sure.
And you ask yourself, do they not have friends because friends were jealous? Or do they not have friends because life just got so demanding that it's like, okay, if there's one aspect I'm cutting off, it's this very one. How does then one continue to find a balance, do this life thing, obviously with the kids, with the this, with the that, doing yourself as well, but also finding time to meet up with friends, finding time to, meet up with a friend, chill with a friend, and have friends, basically.
Hey, the friend thing as well, like you are saying, you're saying the 50-year-old mom not having friends. Friends, you have to be selective. It is so important. You have to be very selective and do you again as friends. Because the concern I've got around the friendships, I don't want to sound like old, although I'm old to say, we treat friendships now like very serious, like as much as it's a 6-star, but like you are saying, to say, wherein you now feel guilty if Tshepo has said, Mom, can you fetch Umusa? And I'm saying I'm not available. And Tshepo takes it personal now. So that is the kind of friendship we are observing these days, wherein now Tshepo cannot be herself now to me or to Temogo.
Yeah.
She said, hey, if I refuse, how will Temogo take this? For me, that is not friendship. And that is what we see friendship being all about these days.
Yeah.
Wherein you cannot be yourself.
Yeah.
Even if I'm lying on my couch and someone says, hey, can you go to Peter Maritzburg? I will like, hey, friend, I can't. And my friend will understand. Those are the friends. A friend who you haven't spoken to for 6 months. When she phones, the first thing is not to say, hi, why are you ignoring me? Oh, my friend, I missed you. How are you? So I'm saying when selecting friends, be selective. And you won't have all these problems, these expectations, that are out of control. You know, like I'm saying, if my friend, like I'm the friends that you choose must be understanding friends. I remember my friend, close from varsity, couldn't come to my wedding. Couldn't come, my closest.
Sure.
And it was okay, and we were fine. And she phoned me, hey, Temp, unfortunately, I can't. My friend. And it wasn't a big deal. And it was like business as usual.
Was it not a big deal to you?
No, because...
Was it a big deal to others?
To who? Others it was, not to me. Because I knew myself.
Yeah.
She has got a reason of not coming. So why must she force?
And not that she didn't want to come to you.
Yeah. Even if she didn't want to come, guys, it's okay. She didn't want to. And she's being genuine. And I'm not taking that personal. And that is life.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult for people to understand
that.
And we were like cool with my friend like that. It is okay. She didn't want to come to my wedding for whatever reason, but we're still friends and we're cool with it. It's okay.
We talk about boundaries a lot, but I don't think in friendships we actually make sure that we have boundaries. And we also don't respect other people's boundaries. It's like, no, if I'm reaching out, you must come to my attention now.
Like you're saying, if you put your phone off, some friend will say,
why did you not pick
just
up?
Because
Yes.
What is, and yet it's your space.
Yes.
And now you end up being these fake things. Going around calling each other friends.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? And you know that it becomes toxic.
And you
at
find
the end
that
of
you
the
have
day.
friends, but you don't know each other because
Exactly.
you can't be true to each other. What I'm learning is that you have to have boundaries. And the minute you have boundaries, you are able to respect other people's boundaries. I think sometimes when you have those issues, find the core, because normally the core has nothing to do with your friend. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling when they're not answering? Where is that coming from? Once I've sorted that, I find that I can, if I know that if I WhatsApp you and you'll answer when you've got time, then I understand you that you want to read and be sure and fully give me that time when you are responding. And I take it that way. I'm like, this is how this person wants to do. And I will do the same with them. I will not answer their message when I'm busy because I feel that they want to take time.
Yes.
So if I call you and I realize that you don't like to be phoned when it's during this time, I respect that. And I don't phone that time. And if it hurts me, I try to find out why.
Why does it hurt?
Yes. And then
because there's probably deeper issues and it's not even...
I work with that. I work with myself and I move on. And I think I realized that most of the thing happened because of me more than the other person. And the sooner I deal with myself, I acknowledge whatever is there, acknowledge whether maybe I'm dealing it in a correct way, it helps me to move forward. And you're right. As you get older, friends become minimal because we are selective, because we grow.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I had a friend one day calling me And I was fine. And she was like, oh, sorry, I haven't called you for a long time. I want this and this. And I just helped her. And I moved on. I didn't expect. And also, we've grown. We've evolved.
Yeah.
I don't think, And yes, she's still my friend. But we're not seeing each other. But there are those that we phone each other. We connect.
Yeah.
We'll talk. We not even apologize for not talking for so
Yeah,
long.
sure.
We just
Kick off where
we left off. And she's fine. She's
Yeah.
fine that we haven't spoken for 6 months. I'm fine that we haven't spoken for 6 months. There's no one who feels. So there are those friends that are like that, and we are happy about that relationship. And
Yeah.
I'm learning. And I think the more I'm learning that, I'm also learning to enjoy being by myself.
Exactly.
And the minute I love
Exactly.
being with myself, it's
Exactly.
easy to accommodate other people because I'm with them when I want to be there with them.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get to a place whereby I'm not pleasing
Sure.
and then complaining
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yep.
But it's me who has done the thing.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know? I used to actually even not feel bad because I'll be the one that think would see it's me who took the phone and phoned Temo. It's not like she put a gun on my head to phone her and must deal with myself and calm down. Yes, acknowledge the hurt and move on. But I realized that most of the things had to do with us.
Yeah.
When you want things
Yeah, it
now, you
does.
want things to go your way.
Yeah.
And then now
It's your
you're
way or the highway.
upset. Yeah. But
Yes.
I've learned that, people are busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they prioritize their kids. I know that there are
Yeah.
people that weekends are busy with their kids. And I respect that, and I get busy with my kid if I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I learned that, it's nice. Then I do that as well. So some things you take as learnings as well.
Yeah.
And you move on.
What would you say to that young person watching who feels, I just need a change. I need that change. And they felt, they're looking for a job and nothing has come through. And they are praying to maybe get in a good relationship. Nothing has come through. They have friends, but it's like every time you're an afterthought to them and they just feel like, left behind.
No, I think first things first, you do the Zalwane way. Put God first. Very important. And the higher power. It's difficult these days.
Yeah.
It's very difficult economically, psychologically. We see in the mental health space that the cases are just too overwhelming. It's just too overwhelming. It's just too overwhelming. Every race, every mental health, guys, it's bad. So what is important is you put God first. And any other, believe the higher power that you have. That is number one. Number two, it's the energy that you bring yourself to every day. Please have that positive energy. Gugubi. We are sitting here, you might not know, but always have, there are people who will come for example, for therapy, for assistance. The moment she sits down, all you get is negativity. Of course, it's going to follow you. Once you have that negative thoughts and negative, it is going to follow you. Affirm yourself positively. Abundance, blessings. This is what you must always affirm yourself with. And it will follow.
Yeah.
It will follow,
Yeah.
because once you get into the deep, of course, the energy, it's so funny, the universe and God, how he operates. Sometimes God will give what you want.
Yeah.
Your faith is less.
Yeah.
Your trust in God
Yeah.
becomes less. Your faith must up God to say, hey, come on. So, really, that is important, the outer side, the spiritual side. And then, secondly, you do you.
Yeah.
We've spoken
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Stop being people pleasers.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop watching people on social media
Stop
who are
watching.
sharing 1% of their
Correct.
life and think,
Just sometimes
Hey.
it's 0.01.
Yes. Yes.
We are just taking this here. The next thing you know where you are going.
Yeah.
The social media has played a big role
Yeah.
in killing people.
Yeah.
So it's very important to watch your space, just to watch your space. And of course, continue fighting. It's not easy, but things happen to people who are determined, who are fighting. Despite everything, people are still fighting to say, I will fight on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So otherwise, it's not, there's no magic wand.
Yeah.
There's no magic
truly,
wand.
and that's how life will always be.
Yeah.
It's seasons. Maybe the difference is that you're young, it's a young person. But even when you get old, you get to a place where you've achieved what you want. Now you want other things, and then you feel like they're not coming. It's been long. So the cycle goes on. And Uma is right by saying that, as a child of God, God first.
Yeah.
When you've done that, I met this wise lady, but what I've noticed is that it's one thing that I've done since I was young. When she was telling me what she believes in or what she does, and she says, as a young person, I will urge you to always know what you don't want.
What you don't want.
Yes. Even if you don't know what you want, but know what you don't want. I always knew what I don't want.
Don't want. Yeah.
And I was not, social media then was not
A thing.
in my space.
Yeah.
Wasn't there, but I always knew
What
I didn't want.
Yeah.
And what I have then, I didn't want
Yeah.
as a child.
Yeah.
That is what pushed me in life. It was God. And I knew. I remember when I started working, my mom says, oh, I got a job in Albertine. And my mom says, oh, I've got a friend in Vosloo. Go and look for a place there. Maybe Zogasha, Erumini. I'm like, I don't want to live in a township. So I always knew what I don't want. Not that there's anything wrong.
Yeah, I was about to say, not that there's anything wrong in living in a township.
It's just an example that I'm making.
Yes.
So can it be anything that I knew that I don't want? I also knew that I don't want this kind of a man.
Yes.
I knew that I don't. When you know what you don't want, so you will be able to say that, you know what, young Chaza got that, you're not what I want.
Yeah.
Sure. True.
Because I always never believe in changing people.
Yeah.
So when you know what you don't want, it doesn't matter how it comes. Even if it's so precious, you just know that you don't want it.
Yeah.
Now you're making me think of myself as well.
Yeah.
My father was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I said, in my life, I will never date a person who drinks.
Yeah.
And indeed, it was just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
What-
knew
know what you
exactly.
want,
You knew what you don't.
Yeah.
You knew what you don't want. As much as you don't know the others, but
you
one
knew what you
Yeah.
So at least it minimizes, you taking things that you don't want and having to let them go at some point, and it might be hard. And the other thing that I will say is that work on what you can work on. You can change. There are things that can be changed. There are things that cannot be changed. So try to, there are things that can be changed and cannot be changed. And the other things is that what I've realized sometimes, early gratification doesn't work.
Yeah.
You need to work
Instant,
hard.
Yeah.
Instead,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. We
Yeah.
need to work hard.
Yeah.
You need to work hard. And sometimes, we're just talking about this earlier, don't think that thinking about something is working about it. It's working, it's doing the work.
It's doing the work.
Thinking
yes.
is just thinking. I'm talking about action.
Yeah.
Action. Sometimes we're just even lazy to just take a step and say, take that call. As much as somebody can say no, but what if they say yes? And we grew up in a challenging times where sometimes we have to take buses, taxis, wake up at 4 o'clock, and just to get a no. But it was fine. You guys are privileged now. You take a call, you tap it, send an email.
And they say no. One sitting at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look at it that way. Even if it's 100 no's. I went somewhere and the lady says, her daughter studied, had 2 degrees, but I think she sent about more than 1,000 CVs because they counted rejections. But the no's, guys, they make you strong.
Yeah.
Even at this age, I still get no's.
Yeah.
And you even get surprised when they say yes. You're like, are you sure?
Yeah.
But they build you. They build your character and they make you strong. And I know when you're sitting there, it's hard to believe that it will change and the right thing will come. but work hard and just never give up.
Sure. Yeah.
You've been prepared for something, you might
Greater.
not know.
Yeah.
But hold
Yeah.
on. I know it's hard, and especially when you're in that situation, it's just hard to believe, but
What's the one thing that you recently bought for yourself?
I think for me, normally I buy books for myself, and I get excited. But I think for me currently it's investment in things that grows me. It's, I think I've told you before. I have a coach that I pay, and I'm very proud of myself of doing that.
Of doing that.
Yeah. So
because it's something that you're doing for yourself.
Yes. So those are the things that I think recently I've been investing in therapy and getting a coach or mentor, and I know that sometimes it gets overrated, but mentors and stuff. But I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
It's not like they are doing the work.
The work for you. Yeah.
And it's nice when you're paying someone because you're paying. So
Yes.
it's
But also,
they wouldn't even care if you don't do it.
Exactly.
You will not do it,
But also, even if you were paying and you decided not to do the work, you're fooling you.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with them. You are actually just fooling yourself.
Yeah, and we live in that culture of fooling ourselves.
Yeah.
And I learned at a very young age, which is one thing that I also want to tell young people, is that we used to make jokes with Virgin Active, and people normally go and swipe their cards. And I remember telling a friend that I don't do that. She says, why don't you do that? I'm like, if I don't exercise, I don't swap my card.
Yeah.
I said, I'm afraid because the card thing and Virgin Active is tangible. I can see. But then you will wonder how many things that are not tangible that you're robbing yourself. And you're surprised that there's no changes. There are no changes. But basically, that's how you live. You know? That's how you live. And I said, I don't want to practice something that can open a seed, in a hole in my life where I start living that way in so many areas of my life. And I just swipe and think that
that's doing the
that's doing the
cutting
work.
your nose.
Yeah. And it's little things. So be careful of things that, can look cute, but they say a lot about your character and what you can adapt. And immediately when you do something, it becomes a habit, and it's difficult to let go of it. Rather not start, especially if you see that it's not going to benefit you. So, but going back to your question, those are the things. So currently I can't buy myself other nice things. I know later I will, and they're coming. But for now,
it's that.
It's that.
And you, Ma?
Yeah. No, with me it's so funny. It's in September last year where I turned 60.
Yeah.
And the blessings, it's still
I
with
know
me.
she doesn't look 60.
You know?
Like she doesn't look 60 at all.
So it's just the blessing, it's still there, and you still every day you don't believe that you guys really 60. Like God is good,
Yeah.
and the manner in which it happened, like the importance of doing you.
Yeah.
You know the importance of doing you, because sometimes we get in the vibe or say, my 60th must be whatever, Like, obviously, we know most of us, we grew up not doing these things, but,
And therefore now, because we
exactly,
have the
So I was so happy. I did my own way. I went out with my friends, and we were so chilled. It wasn't, yes, and she was waiting for it.
I was waiting.
And the cake, and so really for me that has been like the blessing and the 60th for really, because that was like for me it's still the limelight, and God is still God is still good. But I mean the importance of doing you at all times, guys.
And doing it
showing up for yourself.
Yeah. And you know what, it encourages us. We look at you, as I'm saying that, I look at even you, I often see you with your kids, you always treat them in so you see them as how God has shown you about your kids. And you're always hopeful, you never dwell in the negative, it doesn't matter what. And for me, it encourages me. But also what I like in life is that you choose.
Yeah.
Choose what is going to motivate you.
Yeah.
So if you choose that you're going to see something and you don't even know what's happening about
Yeah.
it, and whenever you want it,
Yeah.
the social media thing,
Yeah.
choose what you, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, guys, I get emotional, especially the two of you. Like, Temu will know. I won't even look at you now. Get emotional.
Yeah.
The compliments and when you say you are just being you,
No,
and
you
there are
always
people observing to say, "Wow, I would love to raise my kid."
Yeah.
So really, for me,
Yeah.
that's a testimony as well. It's a message from God.
Yeah.
And it's not selfishness. I've seen self-care.
So really,
Self-care not being selfish.
Yeah.
Being loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you love other people, you love us because you can love yourself.
Yes. 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 In fact, you
Yeah.
love because you can love yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ladies, it's been amazing to have the
Beautiful
both of you.
afternoon.
Yeah, it's truly been an honor
Thank
to
you.
come and have a conversation, just about the different stages and levels and changes that happen in our lives. And yeah, I guess getting to a point where we can also be happy, with the change that happens and being able to rebrand where we need to rebrand. It doesn't necessarily mean you change your values or your principles. Those, are what define you, but you can rebrand and be a different Temo as a mom and Temo as, wife, Temo as a friend, as a sister, and so forth. So thank you so much for joining me, for availing yourself.
Thank you.
Any closing remarks for our viewers out there?
Never despise small beginnings. Wow. I look at where we've come from
Yeah.
and always see greatness in people.
Always see greatness in people.
Yeah.
Always see greatness in people. And
Yeah.
I've always, as much as I said that, sometimes you can be pleasing, but one thing that had carried me is that I've always seen greatness in people.
Yeah.
Despite how small where they are,
Yeah.
where I've been.
Yeah.
I used to love traveling in a taxi because, the stories I had
Yeah.
and the conversation I will have. And I realized that, yes, there were things that I needed to cut off in my life, but some of them, they've always been great.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always see greatness in people. It doesn't matter what.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, for me, it's just there's this saying that say, you are what you repeatedly do. Finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are what you repeatedly do or say. So, like, if people are appreciating who you are because you consciously and subconsciously tell yourself to say, this is who I aspire to, this is how and it's going to happen automatically. Sometimes you don't even realize. So that's wherever you are, whether you are down there, remember you are what you repeatedly do or say every time. And from here onwards, it can be upwards and onwards.
Yes.
Repeatedly do, subconsciously and consciously, it will happen. It can only be upwards. And to you, girl, it's only upwards and onwards. Yeah.
I told you
Thank
before.
you.
I told you
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
that see yourself in that way. That's
Yeah.
how we see you.
Yeah.
That's how we see
Yeah.
you. I think I remember them when I went to a book launch. Didn't
Yeah.
know what was happening. Anyway, we were just invited.
Yeah.
We've always find ourselves in
in those,
places. That because I know
Yeah.
that somebody said, "Can I go?" 2 tickets, and we went, and it was a lovely lady who was
It
launching
was,
a book, and it was a lovely
yeah.
ceremony. And we just went. I'm like, I don't know. Also, I don't know. I don't even know how I got the tickets.
But let's go.
And
Yeah.
look at what happened today.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We are here again,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
and you don't know again.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you
and
so much.
Thank you so much. To all our viewers out there, you do know where to catch us. Please subscribe so that whenever we have a new episode, you can just get a notification. We also on all audio platforms, so whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple podcast. We're there. Just search Unashamedly Her and you'll find us there. There's more coming this year, but I don't want to say much. It's still brewing, but yeah, thank you so much for catching this episode, and yeah, be good. Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. To stay updated with new episodes and blog posts, do subscribe to this YouTube channel or our webpage, unashamedlyher.co.za. For more Q&A on previous posts, do watch the next episode. Enjoy.